Europeans getting married?
Yes.
How are the Chinese and Indians getting married?
Yes.
And how are the Africans getting married?
Yes.
Here is the problem. Many Africans think like this. What will the American think? What will the European think?
Really?
What will the Chinamen say?
Come on.
We Africans will see what we can do about it.
Come on, Africans.
The correct way of thinking is not to think from them to us, but it is to think from us
To them.
to them. Now, what Sbu was saying was very critical, and I listened very carefully. Even when it comes to businesses, what were the businesses of the past? What are the businesses of the present? What are the businesses of the future? So that by looking at the technologies and the business of the past, we can understand how do we improve on those businesses, and we champion the ideas into the business of the future. There are some businesses that have never changed because gold was important in the past. Gold is important in the present. Gold is important in the future. But how were they doing business? How do we do business? How would they do business in the future? Now follow me very carefully. When it comes to the mindset of the African, yes, me now, how are the Americans bringing up their children? Donald Trump, one of the most trending videos right now. If any country must succeed, it must prioritize itself. It must teach nationality and love its own people. It must make its citizens first. The whole audience went, wow. I put a comment at the bottom of Donald Trump's announcement and said, this is one of the most beautiful statements you have said, Donald Trump. And I wish that all Africans can think like that.
Wow.
Because once we say that Africans come first, as Americans are saying Americans come first. If we can say Africans come first, oh hell no. Rupert and Oppenheimer will pack out of this country faster than they came in. And that's not a joke. We are not serious enough to understand some of this content. So how are the Americans bringing up their children? Number two, how are the Europeans bringing up their children?
Yes.
Number three, how are the Indians and the Chinese bringing up their children? And lastly, how are the Africans bringing up their children? Our kids are now hanging pens because New York children are now hanging their pens. African children. Here's the most painful one also. Then, all of you by now, you're old enough. You may end up sitting in homes and rooms where you're discussing Lobola. Then you hear some poor old woman whose brain is fully brainwashed. And you are there when you and then I sit around like a fly on the window. And I say, how are the Americans marrying? How are the Europeans marrying? How are the Chinese and Indians marrying?
It's been brainwashed.
How are the Africans marrying? No, Africans will want American music and American styles. They want European rings and European vows. They want Chinese dresses and etc. And you say, but is a white wedding not a British colonial cultural wedding? So what is the difference between a British cultural wedding and an African cultural wedding? Are they not both cultural? But which culture is now dominant above the other? Now you have started thinking. You have started thinking when you get there to discover that some of the things that you say they are acceptable according to who?
Yes.
Who is the referee
For fuck's
in the economic sectors of the world? Who is the referee in the religious sectors of the world? Who is the referee in the academic sectors of the world? Who is the referee in the pharmaceutical space of the world? Who is the referee in the economics of the world? Who sits around and decides what Africans must be? I get fed up when I hear African leaders talking about the globalization. When root global, what? Hell no! What will the African be in that global village? And who will be the chief in that village? Who will be the king in that village? We cannot be slaves in this part of the world and be slaves again in that new order they're talking about. Hell no. I'm not going to walk into the global village as a beggar. This time around, normally sport.
For fuck's sake.
We go there as Africans. Bring my cup for you. We go there as Africans. They come as Chinese. They come as Americans. And they come as Europeans. And we all sit together at the table. They can bring their champagne glasses. The Chinese can bring their chopsticks. I will walk onto the table with my cup in my hand with equal dignity, and no other culture has a right of telling another culture that I am superior to you.
Thank you, Bishop.
So I fly around the airports these days with my cup in my hand, in my bag. They give me those plastic stupid cups in the aeroplane. I take those cups and I put them aside. I go into my bag and I pick up my cup and I put it on the table there and I pour my drinks in there. This white woman looks at me with squinty eyes. Says, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "Cheers to life."
Thank you, Bishop.
What I'm saying is not being arrogant, but as Africans we must reach a time of being assertive. We cannot walk around like izinja zobhokinje. Every time a white man comes, we are hiding away from who we are. I love what this young man is doing. Brilliant work. Guys, you are still spending the same money, but it is painful that we can work for 30 days. I'm concluding. We can work for 30 days. We sweat and sweat our salaries. Masqed ukhereza mfethu. Starting yokuyonke esihereze kabuhlungu. Hayi fika sinikeza umlungu ohlukumeze for 30 days. Iphelele injalo. By Monday morning you're on minus. This nonsense got to stop. This rubbish has to stop, and it stops now. Gentlemen, we cannot fight the world. Come on guys, I'm concluding.
I'm with you, Mr. Maponga.
When it comes to war stories, we cannot fight a war with the sharpest point of the war, sharpest point of the spear, pointing on yourself. You will destroy yourself. This is the fastest way of committing suicide. It is to point the sharpest point to yourself. You cannot fight an enemy holding the spear at the end of colonial knowledge systems. This is for display.
You be detrimental to yourself.
You cannot fight the future while you're holding on to the past only. There is a safe place, gentlemen.
The present.
Where you can hold a spear. And both the past and the future are balanced in your hand of the present to thrust our success into the enemy who surrounds us. The African needs to know, how do we manage the present? How do we manage the present? It took one generation to lose land. It has taken us 200 years to regain it. The question is not what happened in the past. The question is, what are we doing in the present? And as Sbu was saying, I cannot lie to you guys, our members of parliament are holding this battle line It's cosmetics. Because until we understand how do we transform the policies, the constitutions, the quality of our thinking, so that we can champion towards the future that we want to have. Gentlemen, we have work to do. And that work begins with the transforming of our minds, identifying our passion. And gentlemen, it is illegal. Since all of you today have been listening to Farmers of Thought, it is illegal to have an erection when you don't have land. You will impregnate your wife with poverty. It is illegal. It is illegal. It is illegal. Udungavuka nepenzeli ifuna ukubhala. Ungenamhlaba. I'm going to say this painfully.
Yes.
And I know these are the things that when I was in school, I was banned from addressing students because I almost burnt the university on a protest. But I'm there right now to becoming a politician again.
Yes.
So listen to me carefully.
Come.
It is illegal to sleep with a woman when you don't have land. This is why I say it. Because we're not Jangendot. You will never agree to hire a man next door to come and sleep with your wife and help you to make children. Now listen carefully. Since you cannot ask a man next door to come and sleep with your wife, or later on even allow the man next door to put his hand between the legs of a woman and feel your private property. When you find another man doing that, I bet you that your temper, men of you who are here, if not half of you, you'll wake up in jail the following morning for having committed atrocious crimes, for finding another man holding your woman's things.
Imagine.
Now how can you be so passionate about your woman's legs when in fact your woman's legs are equivalent to the land that is being fingered by a white man? And you feel nothing about it.
Imagine.
How does a foreign man walk into your land and put his hands on your mother's bosom and caress her in front of you while you're busy watering Mulungu's garden and you are comfortable to do that? Sismo Africa, I want to put this war back into you. The war of Sondran. Come on, guys. The war of Blood River. When our fellow African brothers and sisters, fellow Zulu men, picked up their spears, but Valangepesh, gun or no gun, we will die, but we'll make sure that this injustice will not continue. It took one generation to have those guts, and the history is written on the stains of their blood. Here you are with your hands full of liquor and full of cigarettes.
Pay me.
What future are we writing for our children?
Pay me.
With those few words, gentlemen, I said the battle has started. And this battle starts in your mind. The quality of your thinking, the quality of your passion, the action of your hands. Let's live here to do, to think, and to transform. This is how I want you to think. This is how I want you to feel. This is how I want you to do. Next time we come here, all of us must come here and we make our own swords and hold our spears and we begin to sharpen the apertures of our thought. May the gods of the land bless you and the spirits of the night treat you kindly as the entertainment goes on. Be well. Look after yourself until we meet again. Amanka! Aye man, give it up for Mahmoud man! Aye man. Hey man, I hope you guys are having a good time right here. Thank you very much.